What? It's okay. Yeah, everything's dropping.
Failure is created within the person. It is always an inside job. We cannot determine what will come our way. We can't control the hands we're dealt, only how we play the cards. A man is not defeated by his opponents, but by himself. The greatest battle you wage against failure occurs on the inside, not the outside. True contentment comes from having a positive attitude. It means expecting the best in everything, not the worst. Remaining upbeat even when you get beat up. Seeing solutions in every problem, not problems in every solution. Believing in yourself, even when others don't. And holding on to hope, even when others say it's hopeless. No matter what happens to you, a positive attitude comes from within. Your circumstances and your contentment are unrelated. Failure is an inside job, and so is success. If you want to achieve, you have to win the war in your own thinking first. You can't let failure outside of you get inside of you. You certainly can't control the length of your life, but you can control its width and depth. You can't control the contour of your face, but you can control its expression. You can't control the weather, but you can control the atmosphere of your mind. Why worry about things you can't control when you can keep yourself busy controlling the things that depend on you? There's really only one solution to the gridlock you find on the failure freeway, and that's to wake up and find the exit. Every failure you experience is a fork in the road. It's an opportunity to take the right action, learn from your mistakes, and begin again. But no matter what you've experienced, remember this. There are people who had it better than you, but who have done worse. And there are people who have had it worse than you, but who've done better. The circumstances really have nothing to do with getting over your personal history. Past hurts can make you bitter or better. The choice is yours.
Lower down.
You choose which track you will head down toward breakdown or breakthrough. It is a turning point, but you determine which way you will turn. If you hear people continually talk about how much harder they've had it than anyone else, chances are they are allowing themselves to be held hostage by their past. Excuses, no matter how strong, never lead to achievement. No matter how much I know or think I know, I can learn from this situation. The only way to become better is to take steps forward, even shaky ones that cause you to fall down. Little progress is better than no progress at all. Success comes in taking many small steps. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. It may sound like I'm making light of what happened to you in the past. I'm not. I know that people suffer genuine tragedies in this imperfect world. They lose children, spouses, parents, and friends, sometimes under horrible circumstances. People contract cancer, multiple sclerosis, AIDS, and other debilitating diseases. They suffer unspeakable abuses at the hands of others. All of those things are true. But tragedies don't have to stop a person from possessing a positive outlook, being productive, and living life to the fullest. One of the greatest hindrances to living life in the present is regret. It saps a person's energy and leaves little that enables him or her to do anything positive. Anyone who doesn't get past the problem or the pain of the past eventually becomes bitter. It is the inevitable consequence of not processing through old injuries and tragedies. Nothing can motivate a person like adversity. If you can step back from the negative circumstances you face in life, you will be able to discover that there are almost always positive benefits to your negative experiences. You simply have to be willing to look for them. In the game of life, it's a good idea to have a few early losses, which relieves you of the pressure of trying to maintain an undefeated season. Always measure an obstacle next to the size of the dream that you're pursuing. It's all in how you look at it. Try, and you can find the good in every bad experience. Today may be your day to turn the hurts of your past into a breakthrough for the future. Don't allow anything from your personal history to keep holding you hostage. Most of us do not like to look inside ourselves for the same reason we don't like to open a letter that has bad news. Most people see all the bad and deny the good, or they see all the good and deny the bad. To reach your potential, you must see both. Remember, to change your world, you must first change yourself. Change yourself, and your world changes. Find the benefit in every bad experience. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. If you are succeeding in everything you do, then you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. And that means you're not taking enough risks. If at first you do succeed, try something harder. Make failure your best friend. Failure is either your friend or your enemy, and you are the one who chooses which. Ironically, the more you risk failure and actually fail, the greater your chances of success. What kind of man would live where there is no daring? I don't believe in taking foolish chances, but nothing can be accomplished if we don't take any chances at all. If there is no wind, row. As you prepare to take a risk, don't expect to get a favorable wind. Begin with a mindset that you have to row. Then, if you get some help, it will be a pleasant surprise.
Okay guys, time to go to bed. And to your bed, Leticia.
EGO, Earth Guide Only. This is the part of us that says who I am is separate from you, and therefore I'm in competition with, and my value is based upon the value of my possessions and so on. What is mine? It is that individual lower level of awareness. Also, in each and every one of us, there's another person. And this sacred or higher self really doesn't care how much you get. It doesn't care who you're better than. It doesn't care how much stuff you have. It's not interested in any of that. This higher or sacred part of us wants only one thing. It wants us to be at peace. There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives. But basically, it all begins with how we choose to think. You cannot manifest what you want into your life if your attention is on what they want for you, or what they tell you are your limitations or what you can do. You cannot manifest what you want if your attention is on what is. As you think, so shall you be. This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long. And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about. You don't allow your thoughts to be on anything that you don't want, or that you wouldn't want to have manifest or show up for you in your life. The ancestor to every action is a thought. Each and every one of us, we have this power. We have conditioned ourselves. You have allowed yourself to become that. One of the things that we believe and hang on to and live with is this whole idea that all of the things that happened to me in my past are what are keeping me from doing what I'd like to do today. Many of us bond ourselves to these wounds of our past. If I were to cut my hand, there's a healing stream that I am connected to that will allow that wound to heal. So my nature says, close up the wounds. And oftentimes we ignore our nature.
Impossible. How could I have lost? I am the perfect being, am I not?
A lot of people think that other things make them the way they are. They'll blame somebody for things that are going wrong in their life. Your anger is your choice, and you can always choose to be angry, depressed, miserable, upset, or you can choose to be fulfilled and do something positive in this moment. It's always up to you. When you get beyond just knowing yourself as this body and this personality and this thing that you inhabit, and begin to realize that who you are is that which was never born and can never die, and you recognize your eternal self. It's really about recognizing the power, the energy, the capacity. There are higher levels of awareness that are available to us. A level of awareness that allows us to do things like to manage the coincidences of our lives. To be able to place our attention on what it is that we would like to create for ourselves in our lives. To literally have the power to know that if I think about it and I keep it there, and I keep that picture firm within me, that there is an energy, a source, a capacity within me that is in the universe and that is also in me, and that I can use this energy, that I can manage it. And what we have to do in order to get to that place where we can take the keys and unlock the self-imposed prisons, or the prisons that we have given ourselves on the basis of what we have come to believe is our limitations, what we can and can't do. We have to let go of that, rewriting our agreement with reality. We literally have to make a whole new contract with what it is that I perceive to be what is possible for me. We have to shift out of the things that we have come to believe in, and everything that you believe in was handed to you by someone else outside of you, by the experiences or testimony of someone in the past, and because it comes from outside of you, there is still an element of doubt that keeps you from reaching higher levels, because what you think about is what expands. And if you're thinking doubt, then doubt is what expands. Now, there's a big difference between what you believe and what you know. I can do all the scientific studies. I can find the command center inside of me. And I can go to the brain and I can point to a specific point, and scientists can do this and say, there's the command center, which allows you to have a thought. But there's no computer and there's no scientist and there's no technology that can ever allow us to go inside and say, there's the commander in the command center. And that commander in the command center, that weightlessness, is the part of us that we just don't pay enough attention to. Once you start becoming aware of the power of thought, and if you look around, just look around you at everything that you see, it all began with a thought. We become what we think about. And that is probably one of the most important principles in learning to manifest. An orange is a simple metaphor. You take this orange and you squeeze it as hard as you can squeeze it, and you ask yourself, what will come out? Never, no matter how many times you squeeze it, will apple juice come out. Why? Why when you squeeze an orange as hard as you can squeeze it, does orange juice come out? The reason that orange juice comes out when you squeeze it is because that's what's inside. Now you extend the metaphor and someone squeezes you. Someone says something about you that you don't like. Someone behaves towards you in a way that you find offensive. Somebody does something or says something to you that you feel hurt by. And out of you comes anger, hatred, bitterness, tension, fear, anxiety, stress. And immediately you say, the reason that comes out of me is because of how he said it, or the way that she said that, or because they did that. But the truth is, the reality is, that what comes out is what's inside. And if you don't like what's inside, you can change it. The quality of your human experience is really much more dependent upon how you use this invisible intelligence and how you connect to this energy. And once you have an awareness that you can never be separate from it, that you and it, and whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you call it a divine presence, if you call it soul, if you call it spirit, if you call it consciousness, it doesn't matter. What we have come to believe is our limitations, what we can and can't do. We have to let go of that. What you really want, you will get. The bad news is that what you really don't want, you will also get. And this is one of the most difficult things for people to understand. If your attention is on what is and the circumstances of your life, that's where your thoughts are, then you will continue to create what is into your life. You cannot manifest what you want if your attention is on what always has been. This is the way things are. You'll hear people say it to you all the time. These are the circumstances of life. Don't you understand? This is reality. Wake up. If you keep your attention on what always has been, then what always has been is what you'll continue to manifest. As you think, so shall you be. These aren't empty words. This is reality. And every time your thoughts are on what is, you shift it to what do I want? I have never believed that we need to be putting the responsibility on someone else. Don't tell anybody else about what you want to manifest. Don't make it a big statement. Instead, keep it to yourself. It's the present moment thoughts that I have and how I am using them that is making my life go in this direction, and nothing more.
Where have you been? Why are you here? And where are you going? You look at your life, you look at what you produce. Is it giving you what you want? Are you living on purpose? Are you living your dream? Are you acting on your ideas? Are you doing all you can do? Have you gotten comfortable? Are you procrastinating? Are you evading your own greatness? Are you surrounding yourself with people that can nourish you? Are you challenging yourself? Are you experimenting? Are you learning something different? Is your life an adventure or is it boring? Why are you here? What brought you here? Investing the time, the money. What brought you here? What decisions are you making right now as you look into the future? Where are you going with your life?
I don't care how hard you fail. I don't care how many times you fail the test. I don't care if nobody don't believe in you. It only takes you believing in yourself to get this thing done. As long as you believe in you, you got the right mindset, you got the right attitude, you can have whatever you like. But if you fall, I need you to fall forward. I need you to fail forward.
Now, are there going to be some moments when you want to give up? Yes. Will there be some moments when it's going to seem like it's impossible? The pain that you're experiencing, the disappointment that you're experiencing, that you're going to say, it's not worth it? Yes, that's going to be right there for you. It's going to be in your face, telling you to go back.
But don't let the distractions distract you. All right? You got to keep moving. Don't stop.
Separate what you do from who you are. That's what the guilt trap is about. All of us have made some mistakes in life. All of us have done some things that if we had them to do over again, we wouldn't do it again. A lot of things that if I had it to do over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. Well, it didn't happen that way. A lot of us, because of our limited vision of ourselves, a lot of us who begin to focus on problems and enable them to overwhelm us, we begin to think that we have no options. We begin to believe that there's no way out. You can always better your best. You can always go beyond anything that you have ever done. And I'm saying that the fact that you're still here, that you're still breathing, you've got some more work, and you owe it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, that you can look yourself in the face and say, hey, I'm living my life on my terms.
But I tell you, there are some times in life where you fall down and you feel like you don't have the strength to get back up. Pretend that everything's okay when it's not, and you go home and lay in your bed when no one's looking at you, when you don't have to impress anybody, and fear comes in. You know the fear that you have as soon as you walk into the doors of your house. Maybe it's a broken home. Maybe you have doubt in your life. Maybe you don't know for sure what's going to be happening in the future and it scares you. Maybe you're worried about what people think of you, what people say about you. Just that fear paralyzes you. And I just want to ask you today, do you think you have hope?
Right now, you're at the worst place in your life that you've ever been. I believe that this is your beginning, but this doesn't have to be your end. That just because you are currently here, this is your present circumstances, that life don't have to end for you right now.
What is it that will give you the drive? What is it that will ignite the courage in you to get up and come back again and again and again?
Your why. Your why is gonna push you when you can't push yourself. When you want to quit and give up, your why is going to give you that edge you need, that advantage you need, that lift that you need to get to the next level. Your why. Yes, we're tired. Yes, we're hungry. Yes, the mind is saying give up. Yes, it's saying quit. But we cannot quit because we realize we have not reached the goal yet. This is not what I said I was going to do. This is what I talked about. This is not the goal. This is not what I dreamed about. This is not what it looks like.
I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times, if I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No.
So I need you to believe.
But if I fail, I try again, and again, and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up.
You can decide that you're going to stand up to life.
And it's not the end until you've given up. There's still hope.
You're going to work through this. You're going to get up. You're going to get dressed. You're going to get out. And you're going to do what you've been called to do. You're going to be what you called to be. You're going to have, and you're going to prove to everybody that tried to break you, everybody that tried to stop you, everybody that tried to kill your dream, you're going to prove all of them wrong. I use the pain to push me to greatness. And I'm telling you right now, don't give up. I'm telling you right now, don't give in. Get through it. There is still time. As long as there's breath in your nostrils, as long as you can wake up in the morning.
It matters how you're going to finish. And you will find that strength to get back up.
You still in the game, which means if you're in the game and there's still time in the game, still time left in the game, you can still win the game. You can't afford not to be you. You can't afford just to go to work so you can get a check. You cannot afford not to see what your greatest is. You can't afford not to put your foot all the way down and see what you can get out of life.
You'll get knocked down, but you won't be knocked out. I'm going to empower me. And all of these things that are happening to me right now, they're just temporary inconveniences. They're not stronger than I am.
You can't afford not to be you.
You're going through some hard times. It has not come to stay. It has come to pass. It takes guts to pick yourself up. It takes guts. You got to dig down deep to gut it out. Keep on going again and again and again until you make it happen, because you know that it's possible.
And many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, to start fighting back.
If life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
It's necessary you take responsibility for it. That you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. We have so much energy that can take us so far. It's necessary that you hook up with some other energy that can take you to the next level. Just go out there. It's possible you can get what you want. It's necessary if you want it, you got to go into action. You got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to fail and to succeed. Here's your dream manifested. No, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's difficult. Yes, right? And it's worth it. It's necessary that you have a plan of action, that you're resilient, that you stick to, that you have the vision and never give up, that you become creative and relentless and keep on coming back again and again and again. And that it's you that you got to take personal responsibility to make it happen. And that it's hard. Easy is not an option. And when life knocks you down, jump back up and say, it's not over.
until I win.
I made my decision and stood next to you, and it was an honor. And I wouldn't change that for the whole world, not 1 minute of it.
The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and response to failure. Nothing else has the same kind of impact on people's ability to accomplish their desire. How people see failure and deal with it impacts every aspect of their lives. Certainly all people like to think of themselves as above average, but achievers seem to leave average in the dust. Failure is far more common than success. Poverty is more prevalent than wealth, and disappointment more normal than arrival. Because in life, the question is not if you will have problems, but how you're going to deal with your problems. Are you going to fail forward or backward? You have the potential to overcome any problems, mistakes, or misfortunes. All you have to do is learn to fail forward.
Now the tables are turned. I hope his spirit isn't crushed.
Well, if you don't do anything about it, then everything just stays the same. Huh? Can you honestly say you're okay with that?
Each of us lives dependent and bound by our individual knowledge and our awareness. All that is what we call reality. However, both knowledge and awareness are equivocal. One's reality might be another's illusion. We all live inside our own fantasies.
You are the only person who can really label what you do a failure. Success is not a destination, not a place where you arrive one day. Instead, it is the journey you take.
Hey kid, you gonna do it?
Yes, I am. I have to.
And whether or not you succeed comes from what you do day to day. Failure works the same way. It's not some place you arrive. It's how you deal with life along the way. Truly, no one can conclude that he's failed until he breathes his last breath. Until then, he's still in process. And the jury is still out.
I absolutely detest the bullies in town who prey and pick on the weak. But what really bothers me is people like you who just let it happen and don't fight back.
I really wish I were stronger.
People think failure is the enemy. It's not. Most people try to avoid failure like a plague. But it takes adversity to create success. People think failure is final. It's not. Even what may appear to be a huge failure doesn't need to keep you from achieving. The terrible truth is that all roads to achievement lead through the land of failure. Are we going to sleep life away, avoiding failure at all costs? Or are we going to wake up and realize that failure is simply a price we pay to achieve success?
All right, I won't lose.
I'll win no matter what.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen. Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well. As long as there is a concept of victors, the vanquished will also exist. The selfish intent of wanting to preserve peace initiates wars, and hatred is born in order to protect love. There are nexuses, causal relationships that cannot be separated.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy. But you can't care about it if you're always holding yourself back in case it doesn't work out.
At last I enter a fight for which I don't know the outcome. The tension is mounting in my neck.
Get a new definition of failure. See it as the price you pay for progress. If you can change the way you see failure, you gain the strength to keep running the race. Failure is simply a price we pay to achieve success.
Is that all you got for me?
Damn, I can't stop thinking about it. I gotta relax. I gotta calm down. I'm going to win. I will win.
When you're angry, you punch full blast! Full blast!
Right! Now let's do this. In this final battle, there will be no boundaries. The only rule is kill or be killed.
What you have to tell yourself is, I'm not a failure. I failed at doing something. Every successful person is someone who failed yet never looked at himself as a failure.
I won't just throw people away.
Can't let go.
I never would have gotten this far without those guys' help. And whenever I was getting my head rearranged, it was always because I cared about them that I could win.
And that's precisely the reason you've been limited up till now. You're too soft. You don't need anyone but yourself. Don't you understand that?
get on your feet. I'm firing one last shot with all I've got, and it's gonna end this fight one way or another. So no more stupid surprises or fakes. You show me everything you've got right now. If I win this time, I don't ever want to see you back up.
All great achievers are given multiple reasons to believe they were failures. But in spite of that, they persevere.
If you deliberately plan to be less than you are capable of being, then I warn you that you will be unhappy for the rest of your life. You'll be evading your own capacities, your own possibilities. We all come from poor backgrounds, some of us more recently than others, and the ancient fear of making a decision that could result in disaster still haunts the corridors of our minds. We really don't have time to keep saying no if we expect to succeed. Survival should not be the only option for a human being. Human beings simply require more. Why should we not say yes to a life?
Why do some people do so well in life, while so many more do not? It is our attitude toward life which will determine life's attitude toward us. We shape our own lives, and the shapes of them will be determined by our attitudes. There are literally millions of human beings living narrow, darkened, frustrated lives, living defensively, simply because they take a defensive, doubtful attitude toward themselves, and as a result, toward life in general. Attitude is a reflection, a result of a person's will. It is incalculably powerful. Actions trigger feelings, just as feelings trigger actions. A good attitude can change a person's life as dramatically as walking from a darkened room into the bright, clear light of day. You must first become, mentally, from an attitude standpoint, that which you wish to achieve.
What we do is a matter of choice. We are what we do and how we do what we do. But what we do and how we do what we do are matters of personal choice. We are the only creatures on the planet Earth with a choice as to what we do and how we do it. And saying yes can lead us to excellence. Yes, I will do that to the very best of my ability. If you think you can succeed in a large way and play it safe at the same time, you're sadly mistaken. Success takes risk. It takes full commitment. You go out on the limb, so to speak, and take your chances alone. Sometimes one wonders how many times we must be bludgeoned over the head with liberating truth before we can muster the confidence to stand up on our own hind legs and build great lives for ourselves. Listen to that inner voice. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Stop carrying around a mental picture of yourself as a defeated, worthless person. Stop dramatizing yourself as an object of pity and injustice. For real self-esteem is not derived from the great things you've done, the things you own, or the mark you've made, but an appreciation of yourself for what you are. The exciting story unfolding upon this inner screen is one which is invented every second of your life, yesterday, tomorrow, but most important, right now. Since you are the dramatist, the director, and the actor, you can change the story as it unfolds, now, this instant, and for your whole lifetime. You can be the hero and conquer the villain. It's all inside you. It all depends on what you do with an image you carry inside you, an image which is your most important tool for good or for ill. It all depends on you and your self-image. We become what we think about. We become successful to the extent of our true desires and determination. Risk and success are at opposite ends of the same balancing beam. You cannot have one without the other. Human being with a gift of consciousness to take life and all that's connected with life for granted. To live each day as his or her due, and quite likely find more to criticize than to be grateful for. Yet that's exactly how millions live out their lives. They often give the impression that they have a contract with forever, when it's really for only a handful of years.
Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything. There is nothing in your life that's worthwhile, that's quick and easy. It's all uphill. You have to fight for it every day. You have to climb for it every day. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Now the problem is, we have downhill habits. Now if you have downhill habits and you have uphill hopes, you're in trouble. And the only way that you go uphill is by self-discipline. And the challenge that we all have is we don't mind climbing uphill for 3 or 4 days, as long as we can coast for a couple. 4 days of climbing is wiped out with 1 day of coasting. And you're back to the same place that you were. It's faster downhill than it is uphill. It's easier downhill than it is uphill. It's quicker downhill than it is uphill. Nobody will carry you uphill. Nobody can push you uphill. If you go uphill, you got to do it yourself.
Yield and overcome. Bend and be straight. Empty out and be full. Wear out and be renewed. Practice action without striving, and all will be in order. It is because you do not strive that no one under heaven can strive with you.
Courage is the willingness to let go of the familiar. What you have known and what you have done hinders you from being what you could become. Life expands or shrinks in proportion to your courage.
You mean you need a reason to fight? As long as one of us is still breathing, then this fight's not over.
When we are dancing, we are not aiming to arrive at a particular place on the floor, as we would be if we were taking a journey. When we dance, the journey itself is the point.
It is not the difficulties that defeat us. It's the lack of confidence in ourselves that defeats us. If you worry about what people think of you, it's because you have more confidence in their opinion than you have of your own. That will suck confidence out of your body. I don't think I can rises from a deeper, I don't think I am. I don't think I can rises from a deeper, I don't think I am. You see, confidence comes from not always being right, but not fearing to be wrong. Confidence releases the risk. Confidence releases the risk. Courage is not waiting for your fear to go away. We know this. We know this at the gut level. But many times fear still holds us back. The most courageous acts take place despite fear. Those who follow will become strong. Courage is the door that can only be opened from the inside. Someone on the outside can't do this for you. Courage is the most important of all virtues, because without it, you can't practice any other virtue with consistency. I will attempt things so big that if they're accomplished, only God will get the credit. I will intentionally grow every day, and I will develop my strengths. Growth is a result of bad habits dropped, wrong priorities changed, and new ways of thinking embraced. Emotions without thinking is downhill. And emotions with wrong thinking is downhill. And if you put emotions above thinking, it's downhill. Self-discipline needs fuel. And the fuel comes through doing what you love and doing what you're good at. There's a relationship between willpower and why power. There's a connection, and the connection is very simple. When you're doing your why, your purpose, you have a will. Because it's what you love, it's what you care about. A lack of self-discipline is a lack of knowing what you want in life.
You can feel on the one hand I am doing it, and on the other hand it is happening to me.
It's only going to get harder going forward, and it's all right to scream or cry. How you choose to deal with it is up to you.
Knowing others is to be clever. Knowing yourself is to be enlightened. Overcoming others requires force. Overcoming yourself requires strength. It is because you do not strive that no one under heaven can strive with you.
Out of the night that covers me,
blank as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Yield and overcome, bend and be straight, empty out and be full, wear out and be renewed. Clay is shaped into a vessel, yet it is the emptiness within that makes it useful. Doors and windows are cut for a room, yet it is the space where there is nothing that makes it useful. Therefore, though advantage comes from what is, usefulness comes from what is not. Better to stop in time than to fill to the brim. Hone a blade to the sharpest point, and it will soon be blunt. Fill your house with gold and jade, and no one can protect it. Be prideful about wealth and position, and you bring disasters upon yourself. Retire when the work is done. Develop the strength of a man, but live as gently as a woman. To know that you have enough is to be rich. Do not look only at yourself, and you will see much. The saying of the old ones, yield and overcome, is not an empty phrase. True wholeness is achieved by blending with life. So it is that the true person does not wish to be great, and therefore becomes truly great. The true person is detached and humble, and to the world appears confusing. A person of high virtue is not conscious of virtue, and therefore possesses virtue. A person of little virtue tries to be virtuous, and therefore lacks virtue. A truly good person functions without ulterior motive. Therefore, such a person lets go of that without and is content with this within. People who lose the way conform to the loss. Those who conform to the loss are welcomed into the loss. Those who do not trust enough will not be trusted.
When you're working on a dream, at some point in time, a transition takes place. And the transition is what you are becoming in pursuit of the dream. Because even if you don't get the dream, you become such a strong and powerful person, you can look at something else and say, well, I think I'll go do this then. Because you've now developed yourself in such confidence and such competence in how to deal in the arena of life